What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, DN Duel Commentary. I try to get in with scissors, it doesn't work, so I try with scissors again, and it does work. 1378 is my opponent's rating. I think I'm 799, but I think I'm in the 800s now. I'm opening with Dark Hole, Lance, Double MST, Hornet, Ladybug. Too much of a good thing here. I've got too much back row hate with the Double MST plus Lance. I guess I should have set Hornet just to protect my life point since I don't know what I'm playing against. That probably would have been better than just leaving my field open. But I'm thinking, I mean, how much damage can somebody really do turn one, you know, unless I'm playing against like card creep. Plus I got two back row. I mean, if nothing else, he kind of like has to respect my back row, right? Unless I'm playing against Hieratics, a deck that is known for just going for the gusto. He summons a set, of course he tributes it for Sue. It's going to trigger the set, so he's going to get one of those vanillas. So already he can get to a tomb. And considering he has Sue, I imagine he'll probably use the effect at least once. I mean, nobody wants to go into a tomb with two back row, right? So he gets the new, what's it called? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy's name. This is kind of like the new version of how people have been playing Hieratics. Anyways, he uses, he tributes Tefnuit to activate Sue, picks off one of my MSTs, and now he's in a really good position because not only is he going to get another vanilla, but you know, he's only facing down one back row. He gets Flame Veil Guard, which I was unaware that Hieratics played. But then, again, this is the newer version of the Hieratic deck. And I played this before YCS Atlanta, so I was still kind of trying to figure out the new version of the deck. When he got Flame Veil Guard, I was kind of like, wait, what? I thought Hieratics was all about, you know, sixes and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, wait, is he going to summon a Dragon Ruler? And that's exactly what he did. You know what I mean? So he summons a Dragon Ruler. He summons Blaster. And this is, you know, I'm like, all right, well, he's probably going to make Stardust Dragon. Now, if I had like Centipede or Dragonfly, I could get around this field pretty easily. But, you know, without me having one of those cards, it's going to be kind of a pain. He summoned Stardust Spark Dragon, and I'm like, well, that's actually kind of better than Stardust Dragon because he can make sure absolutely, especially against this deck that I'm playing, Inzektors, he can make sure that his Attune gets to see next turn. And he already has one Dragon Ruler in the graveyard with a bunch of dragons, so, you know, he could end up dropping like a Dracosack on me next turn. Anyways, he sets one. I'm going to blast that with MST. That is, I guess, the one benefit of him not having Stardust on field is I could get rid of that back row, be it Fiendish Chain or Bottomless Trap Hole or something like that. His field is definitely something that's a problem. You know, I can Dark Hole him and I can get rid of the Stardust Dragon. He'll probably use its effect to protect King Dragon. The problem is that damn King Dragon, I can't get off the field. You know what I mean? If I go Ladybug, Hornet, and I try and target a tomb, he's just going to use Stardust's ability to put it on the tomb, and then I'm just going to end up losing both my monsters to battle next turn. So I'm in a bad spot. The only move that I really can do is I can Dark Hole, and I can kind of cut, you know, the amount of damage that I'm going to take. He's obviously going to use Stardust to protect the King Dragon of Tomb because, again, if I let that King Dragon of Tomb live, he'll probably bring out like a Redox or a Title out his deck. Then he'll summon Blaster, and then he'll drop Dracosack on me, and then he'll overlay for Gaia Dragon, and I'll just be in a shitstorm. So I'm just gonna set my Hornet now. Of course, I don't want to just be sitting there eating damage, and I'm gonna set Call to Haunted, even though it's probably just gonna get picked by Dracosack. But you know, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he'll use Dracosack on my face down monster instead of attacking it with Gaia Dragon. You know, maybe there's a little hope there. Alright, so he uses a tomb for the second time, and I'm just guessing he's either going to bring out Red Eyes or another Dragon Ruler. He brings out Title. You know what? I'm not sure if they play Red Eyes anymore. Wait, they have to play Red Eyes. Like, it's the whole fucking deck is nothing but dragons. Why would they not play Red Eyes? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so he summons Title, and he's looking in his graveyard. He's not going to want to do this this whole play unless he's going for a Dracosack or a Big Eye or something like that. It wouldn't make sense. So you can see he overlays for Gaia Dragon first. I guess he's trying to see maybe if I have like the Torrential, but I mean, I'm not completely like an idiot. I would just wait for you to summon Dracosack, then Torrential him, and unfortunately I do not. He removes the Stardust and a set, and he's going to summon Blaster now. There he goes. Blaster hits the field with his 2800 gloriousness. and he's going into Draccosacks. Draccosacks is still that nigga. Like, I realized that. Like, you're going to be one of those cards that is good until there are no longer dragon rules. Like, as long as people keep squeezing those 4 cards into decks like Hieratics and, you know, decks like that, I mean, the card is just going to be good. Harpies can run it too, so obviously, yeah, even without dragon rules, it'd still be getting Harpies. Alright, so you can see he gets his 2 tokens, he pops my Call of the Haunted, and I believe he's just going to run over my Hornet with, what do you call this thing? With Gaia Dragon, Thunder Charger, and with only a Ladybug in my hand, I pretty much either need, like, let's see, a Dragonfly or an Insect Imitation. Like, those are pretty much the only cards that could save me. Outside of that, I really don't see myself coming back. Like, I don't run Mirror Force, and even if I did, he could just pop it. He sets 1 card in the back row, which is good because, I mean, I have Forbidden Lance. I just need a huge Inzektor top deck, something like again, Dragonfly, Insect Imitation. Those would work. He's taking forever. I don't really know why. I draw Zexcalibur, and I'm like, all right, it's a wrap. So I just scoop. I'm not one of those type of people where I'll literally just sit there for, you know, 2 or more turns, knowing damn well I'm gonna lose, and try and stall. I'll just give up if I know that there's no hope of me winning. So I'm taking out the Call of the Haunteds, especially considering not only does he have Sue, but he has Draccosacks that he can summon. He has the Wing Giant Beat thingy, you know, the one where you put a dragon in your hand and that shit just, it torches the entire back row. So I'm going to take out my MSTs because I only saw like 1 trap that game. Bringing in the Veilers for a tomb, and I'm bringing in Gozen Match. I've added a second Gozen Match to my side deck. Gozen Match is a really good card in this format. Anyways, so let's see what we got. Now this game, this is the type of hand you want with Inzektors. I have Zexcalibur, I've got double Ladybug, I don't really need 2, but whatever. Not only am I going to get Centipede started, and this time you can see instead of going for Zexcalibur like I usually do, I go straight for the Hornet to put pressure on him because I already have Zexcalibur, and I've got Prop Duality so I can draw some defense too. Looking at this, Phoenix Chain is pretty much the obvious choice, and I like this hand because, you know, the Phoenix Chain can keep at least one of his monsters in check, you know, but if he happens to try and go balls to the wall nuts, then I've got Max C to keep him, you know, from just blowing me out of the water. I mean, if he wants to, he can keep trying to put monsters on board, but I'll draw, you know, 50,000 cards, and I am running Veiler now, so, you know, I definitely think that I am at big advantage right now. And even if he kills Centipede, it's just going to bounce itself back to my hand because of Zexcalibur. So he definitely is in a bad position. He can't leave his field empty because I can just go Ladybug and keep making advantage that way. He hits the Phoenix Chain, which is fine because he already knew I had it. So, you know, there's no harm there. You can see that he's going for Tefnuit. He summons Tefnuit. I believe that's the one you can special summon if your opponent has a monster, and he's going to tribute it for Sue. Now he activates Tefnuit, and I'm going to go ahead and chain. I'm like, all right, go for it. And I chain Max C. I draw Insect Imitation, which is fantastic. I love the Insect Imitation Ladybug play. It is so freaking good because you can summon Ladybug, you can pop one of their cards, and then you can Insect Imitation it straight to Dragonfly. Why do I keep saying Dracosack instead of Dragonfly? I got Dracosack on my fucking head, on my fucking brain. Anyways, he gets out his little Dart Dragon, and now he's in a position to where he kind of has to exceed, giving me another card because Sue cannot get over this. Sue can't get over this Centipede. I mean, I guess he could pop the Zexcalibur, but I mean, Centipede would just trigger. Plus, I would get my Ladybug in my graveyard back. So he's in a very tight spot. Like without the Max C, I'd probably be getting annihilated right now because he can make Photon Strike Bouncer, and that would ruin my entire day. Like that card could hold me down for enough turns. But that Max C put him in a position that he does not want to be. If I'm him, I probably still make Photon Strike Bouncer right now. Like, I don't understand why he didn't immediately do that. I mean, if nothing else, it stalls an Inzektor player for 2 turns. 2 turns, I mean, by then you could probably OTK me or something like that. You could easily just go into a Dracosack plus a Photon Strike Bouncer. I mean, that's fucking real right there. But anyways, I don't know what his hand is, so I can't make his decision. You can see he's going to activate Convocation, and I think he's just going to get another like random random, what's it called? Another random hieratic. He gets a set. He's probably going to trigger it by using Sue. Yeah, he decides to just go ahead, use Sue. He pops my my Zexcalibur. So I'm going to trigger, I told him I'm triggering both effects. So I put Ladybug in my hand for Zexcalibur. And I think I'm going to search either Gigamantis or Dragonfly with Centipede's effect. Yeah, I'm searching Gigamantis, and again, the reason I'm searching Gigamantis and not Dragonfly is because I can Insect Imitation into Dragonfly. So I'm not really that concerned about using Dragon. I'm not that concerned about having Dragonfly in my hand. And you could see I drew another card off of Max C. I drew the Veiler, which was that was the perfect card. Now I feel like he can't win. He can try and go into the same play that he did before. He can try and go into a Stardust and a Tomb. The difference is now I've got the Veiler, so I draw once again when he exceeds. He's gonna try and activate a Tomb, which I'm gonna blast with Effect Veiler, and now I'm pretty sure he's like, oh shit, what do I do now? And I don't believe a Tomb can attack. I don't like the way that works. Like monsters like a Tomb and Chaos Sorcerer, it's like if they're Veilered, they still know that they tried to activate their effect, but shouldn't that part of the effect be negated too? I don't even know. He has to, what's it called? He has to go into to Gaia Dragon to get over the Centipede, which gives me yet another draw. And now you can see I've got like fucking half of my deck. And he sets 2 cards in his back row, which I couldn't care less about. I just consider them both bluffs. I'm going to try and pick apart one of them using Ladybug. And he just scoops it up. But again, you can see that what I would have did was I would have used Insect Imitation. I would have went into Dragonfly. I would have used Gigamantis on Dragonfly. Then I would have used Hornet, and I would have popped the Hornet. I would have triggered Dragonfly twice. I would have triggered the Gigamantis getting the Centipede back, and then I just would have overwhelmed his field. And with already, I had like 6 cards in hand. I don't really understand how he would have came back. Even if he would have Torrented me, I still had so much advantage. Alright, so this is the last game. You can see that I have Centipede, I've got Monk, Bottomless Trap Hole, Foolish Burial, and Zexcalibur. Assuming he doesn't go nuts on me turn 1, this is a fantastic hand. Because I've got Zexcalibur, I've got Foolish Burial, I've got Centipede, I've got Monk if I need it. This is a really, really good hand. So he's going to summon a set. He tributes it for Sue. At least there's nothing on the field for him to blow up. And it looks like going into a Tomb is really like, it's still pretty much the go-to play. But I'm guessing that once again he's going to try and get one of the Dragon Rulers out. If he summons Flamevale Guard, then I know he has a Dragon Ruler in his hand. And if he doesn't summon Flamevale Guard, then, I just have to assume that he's going to try and go for like a Dracosack play or something like that. Because right now he has 2 dragons in grave. So yeah, he can he can get Blaster from his graveyard in defense, and he can still, he can still, well, there's that card too. If he didn't have another Dragon Ruler in his hand, there is this card, which I had no idea what the hell this card did, but Hieratic players love it now. Basically, you send a normal dragon monster to your graveyard, and then you get to dump any dragon. So basically, it just gets you any Dragon Ruler you want to the grave, and then you can just obviously banish the normal monster that you just sent to the graveyard to help you summon that E-Dragon. So you can see he has 2 level 7s on board. So right now, I'm thinking I'm facing down Dracosack plus a King of Tomb. Hopefully he doesn't have too much back row because he's trying to wall up right now with Dracosack. My Bottomless Trap Hole is no good because he already did all his shit first turn. Had I started, I think that I would have destroyed him, especially with Wabaku. Oh my god, nigga, what? Like with Wabaku in addition, I would have destroyed him had I gone first. But this is definitely going to be an uphill battle. All right, so I skipped Ladybug since I did not go first, and I'm going straight for Hornet. You can see that I'm going to try and pop his. I think I should go for a King Dragon. Like, get rid of that because that just lets him keep going. He says he's thinking, which makes me think that maybe he might have like an evac or an MST. Those are the only 2 cards that I could really think that you would set that he might be able he has MST, and I'm fine with that I think I'm gonna go for Dragonfly right now because Dragonfly can clear a board even with a Dracosack on board, and I think I'm going to crash straight into the King Dragon Tomb. Like I have to burn my sword, which kind of sucks because I usually like holding on to that card, but I cannot let that Tomb activate again. He'll just get way too much advantage. He'll be able to drop another Dracosack on me, which is just silly. But yeah, can't have that happening. So I'm going to set my Bottomless and my Waboku. I guess I should have just set Waboku, but then what if he had MSC? I don't think he would have been able to OTK me. He doesn't have enough cards. I mean, he would have just been able to like wall up with Draccosacks, I guess. I mean, anyways, I'm hoping that he's just content on blowing up one of my face downs and passing turn because he only has 2 cards in hand. Hieratics without the E-Dragon engine, I mean, it seems like a deck where you need at least 3 Hieratics to really get your deck rolling. So with only 2, I mean, you can't really like constantly trigger them. I have no idea what his back row is. So you see he tries to activate Dracosack's effect. He does target the Bottomless. Unfortunately, I really wish he would have hit the Waboku because then if he would have summoned another Dracosack this turn, I would have been able to just Bottomless that Dracosack. On the plus side, I still do have my Dragonfly, and he's going to have to prove to me that he can stop it. He activates Reckless Greed, which I don't really understand why he did that. I think that he's trying to fight against Dragonfly. He assumes that, hey, Dragonfly can nuke my field right now, so I've got to do something, but I mean, how do you get 8,000 right now? I mean, I don't know. Because unless you're going to put like a Stardust Dragon on board, I really don't see anything that he does outside of Stardust or Photon Strike Bouncer. I really don't see anything stopping Dragonfly. The fact that he drew an MST was beautiful because now I just got a 1-for-1 out of my Waboku and you still can't do any damage. So now it's like no point of even summoning anything. And you're still, now you're under Reckless Greed. So whatever 3 cards in your hand, I hope they're good. I mean, he can detach and he can get 2 more material, but outside of that, he can get 2 more tokens, but outside of that, I mean, his field is what it is. So I wish I would draw a Lure of Darkness because I really want to get the Monk out of my hand. The Monk is pretty much a dead card right now with me already knowing that Dragonfly is probably going to be the card that I want to use the most. Getting Monk out of my hand would definitely be nice. I would say, what cards would be good right now? If I could top deck, Gigamantis would be good. Dark Hole would be good. Well, yeah, I guess Dark Hole. No, actually, I prefer another Waboku. Another Waboku or a Fiendish Chain. And I got what I needed. I drew another Waboku. Waboku is fantastic in this situation because, I don't have to worry about Xing or anything like that. I mean, with Waboku, you can basically put a bunch of monsters on board. You don't have to worry about them dying via battle. You don't have to worry about taking any damage. It's just a really good card. And since we're both at 1,800, we're both at 8,000, I mean, with Waboku, there is no way that you can OTK me. So it's fantastic. You can see that right now I'm just pretty much going after tokens. I think off the Centipede's effect, I would say probably the best card to get here is Gigamantis. And I'm saying that because I can't kill the Dracosack. I mean, none of the rank 3 Xyz, as I'm looking in my deck, none of them can do anything. The only way that I could have really killed the Dracosack right there would have been to go rank 5, and I could have stole it with with Exostag, but Exostag's kind of weak, and I mean he could have just dropped another Dracosack on board. I'd rather just kill all of his tokens on field, leave him with just the Dracosack, because again he doesn't have any more materials, and he has to drop a fresh Dracosack now. Now granted, if he summons another Dracosack during his turn, he will be able to pop my field twice. But you have to remember, I've got Centipede and Gigamantis, so I can basically recover my entire field just using the Gigamantis' effect. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at his graveyard, and I'm basically just counting his dragons and shit like that to see, how basically he can drop another Dracosack. I'm going to set the Waboku, of course, because if he doesn't drop another Dracosack, then, I want my Inzektors to be protected. But the fact that he doesn't draw right now, it seems to be the element that completely puts this game in my favor. You know what I mean? Like I'm what's it called? I'm +2 on field. You know what I mean? Even though even though Waboku is technically a -1, but the fact that he can't draw, I feel like that's huge right now. So I pass turn to him. He's looking at his graveyard. I assume he's just thinking of the next Dracossack play that he's going to do. I want to know what his hand is. You know what I mean? Like it seems like he's had the same cards in hand. Like even when he used the Reckless, obviously he didn't want to put any more cards on board, knowing that I have Dragonfly. But he doesn't seem too enthusiastic about his hand. You know, he's not quick to make any plays or anything like that. You know, if they're back row removal, then it sucks to be him because I'm just going to chain Waboku. Waboku is just one of my favorite cards in Inzektors. It really has been. It definitely protects you from shit like Photon Strike Bouncer, at least for a turn or so. And then maybe you can, drop Inzektors at different times using Call to Haunted or whatever so that you can get around that shit. So anyways, his options seem really limited. I mean, he can use... If I was him, I would just attack. You know, I would attack. Well, no. He can't do that. He can't just attack because if he attacks, then he can't use his effect, and I'll just blow his shit up. So I guess the only thing he really can do is try to use his effect to pop. If I was him, I would ignore the back row. I would use Dracosack to pop Dragonfly, and then I would make another Dragonsack. I'd make another Dracosack to pop the Centipede, and just hope that I don't have another Inzektor. But you can see that he tries to go after my back row, which unfortunately for him was chainable. So, you know, it's Waboku. And now he's in a bind where he's just looking around and he's like, oh shit, what can I do? I mean, the problem with him, or his problem right now is, even if he summons another Dracosack, which it wouldn't be that difficult for him, I can still get around that. You know, he can't kill both of my Inzektors. Even if he kills Dragonfly, I'm mispronouncing these cards like a motherfucker. Even if he kills my Dragonfly, I can still just recover my entire field with Gigamantis. Like, Gigamantis is so good in this deck. It's so good when you need to either OTK or you need to just recover and blow up your opponent's entire field. You can see that he summons Tempest. Thank God that he didn't run anything outside of Tempest, like Debris Dragon, something that he'd be able to get back from the graveyard. And he's probably going to go for either Tidal or Redox. Tidal or Blaster. Those being the two that are in this graveyard. But again, the Dracosack doesn't really scare me right now. And I really can't see how he's going to win. So he's looking at his graveyard, He's going to banish the Dart Dragon. He banishes Redox from his hand. And now he's going to summon Tidal. And that must have been it. His hand must have been full with E-Dragons, which is weird because, I mean, it's like, I think that the deck only runs 4 of them, right? So for him to have drawn, like, so many of them, it's, you know, kind of odd. Anyways, he goes into the Dracosack, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my Dragonfly in the graveyard because I already know that's where it's going. But, I would say if I had a Zexcalibur, I might be able to OTK him. Maybe. He sets a card in his back row, which kind of throws things into a loop, because now I've got to worry about that being, you know, like, I don't know, a fucking Fiendish Chain or some random shit like Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute would be the worst. It's bottomless trap hole, so you can see I popped it with Hornet. I think I'm going to go for, Zexcalibur, because I already knew that I was going to normal summon Centipede, so I don't need that. I'm going to summon Centipede, and this is the play basically that I'm talking about. You put a Hornet on it, and then you put Gigamantis on the same Centipede or on the other Centipede. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to pop the Gigamantis. I'm going to summon Dragonfly, and then he just scoops because he knows that, you know, Dragonfly by itself is just going to summon a whole bunch of other cards. I actually could have used... Yeah, I guess I could have used Monk during the next turn because I finally had a spell. Anyways, one of the decks that has... historically owned the hell out of me. I finally got a win against it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribing makes life happy.